I was diagnosed with Moyamoya in March of 2013 after suffering 2 strokes. I had no idea what this disease was or that I even had it. I received treatment 2 weeks after my 2nd stroke, and here I am today. Today I will tell you what Moyamoya disease is, why awareness is needed, how it can be helpful to you, and what the world would look like with more awareness and how to go about raising it. There is a lack of awareness of Moyamoya disease. As described by the National Institution of Neurological Disorders and Strokes, Moyamoya disease is a rare cerebrovascular disorder caused by blocked arteries at the base of the brain. It is not clear when Moyamoya was discovered, but research on the disease began during the late 1950s. Since then, research on Moyamoya has steadily increased, but it is still not commonly known. This makes it so that people are often misdiagnosed. Being misdiagnosed can cause the patient to keep suffering from strokes or TIAs since they are not receiving the correct treatment. This can even be fatal in some cases. As of right now, worldwide statistics state that the disease affects approximately 1 in every 1 to 2 million people. Research, however, being done in Stanford Hospital leads specialists to suspect that the statistics are actually much higher than that. It is believed that 1 in every 200,000 people could be affected by Moyamoya. This means that a large amount of the population is being misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all. Now that I have explained why lack of awareness is a problem, I will explain how it impacts our psychological needs. The lack of awareness impacts our physiological needs. I met a young girl of only 6 years old at a Moyamoya picnic organized every year by Stanford. This little girl had suffered strokes most of her life and kept suffering them because she was misdiagnosed. This little girl grew up in Florida, and that is where she currently resides. However, all the doctors in Florida did not know what was happening because they did not believe that a girl of only 4 years old could be having strokes, since it's not really common in children. So it was not until her parents kept pushing and sent her exams to Stanford that they discovered that she suffered Moyamoya disease. Now she has had the corrective surgery and is doing much better. Sadly, this is not the only case. Because Moyamoya is not known by the general public or by the medical or by many of the medical staff, many people are often misdiagnosed and made to suffer for an even longer period of time. In some cases, this unawareness can even be fatal. With all the medical advances we as a society have, this lack of education should not be occurring anymore. Awareness of Moyamoya disease needs to be made. Someone you may know, or may one day know, may be affected by Moyamoya disease or by a different disease. This need needs to be filled in order to have a better life, a life in which one will not have to worry about being misdiagnosed or receiving the correct treatment. Now that I have told you about the lack of awareness of Moyamoya and how it affects our physiological needs, I will explain how to satisfy those needs. To satisfy our psychological need, we must get May 6th to be officially recognized as World Moyamoya Day. The lack of awareness of this disease causes harm to those who are wrongly misdiagnosed. If World Moyamoya Day becomes officially recognized by the WHO, more people would be aware, bettering the chances of correct diagnosis and treatment. For this to happen, people need to become more proactive in raising awareness. Now that I have told you how to satisfy that need, I'll tell you how a world with Moyamoya awareness will look like. If the solution is implemented, people would be correctly diagnosed immediately instead of suffering and risking fatal side effects. Having May 6th officially recognized would make it so Moyamoya would be as well recognized as other diseases such as breast cancer. If people are more aware of Moyamoya, people with this disease would not feel as alone. They would have a huge community behind them. Supporting them and fighting alongside them for a cure. Diseases such as breast cancer and AIDS have received so much attention by the medical field as a result of public interest. If we raise awareness of Moyamoya disease, this would receive the same support and interest as the other diseases, making diagnosis and treatment a lot easier. People would be dressed in Moyamoya colors, walking together to find a solution, celebrating World Moyamoya Day, celebrating the survivors, like me, all over the world, and remembering those that we have lost to the disease. Children and adults will no longer have to suffer, but rather find a solution to their disease and a community there to support them. Now that I have told you what a world with Moyamoya awareness would look like, I will tell you how you can become part of the solution. You can become part of the solution by becoming educated about Moyamoya and educating others by doing speeches just like this one, or even by doing something as simple as signing a petition to prove how important it is for May 6th to be officially recognized as World Moyamoya Day. You can find more information about Moyamoya disease on websites such as moyamoya.com or on the Stanford Moyamoya Center website. Something as simple as mentioning Moyamoya to another person can raise awareness. You can even voice your concerns by writing letters to the WHO and showing them that Moyamoya is an important subject that needs to be recognized and talked about worldwide. Moyamoya awareness is needed to create a better life for those who suffer from this disease. Correct diagnosis and treatment for everyone, no matter the disease. That should be our motto. I was lucky to have gotten diagnosed correctly and received treatment quickly since I was located close to Stanford. But even then, I had to suffer 2 strokes before I even knew I had this disorder. That is why we need awareness. Thank you.